Make sure you stop by the concession stand in the main hallway to grab a snack and a beverage and get you ready to cheer on the Tigers. Fans, please join us on Tuesday, January 14th at 7 p.m. here at the Fieldhouse as our women's basketball team hosts UConn. For more information, visit GoTigersGo.com. team representatives will not be talking, and our grounds for removal from the cycle competition. Thank you.
Well, there's certainly never a shortage of things to do when you're in Memphis, Tennessee on any given night of the week. On this Wednesday evening, though, we find ourselves on campus as the home squad Tigers welcome to town the Bearcats of Cincinnati. Both teams red hot, coming off of great non-conference play performances, each with one American game under their belt, still looking for that first victory to climb up the standings here early in 2020. Welcome in to ADN. Lincoln Rose along with Coach Angela Beck. Great to have you with us. And here's two teams, high expectations. One of them will walk away with the victory tonight.
Well, surprisingly, we're going to see like 15 players that are underclassmen in this game. So it's the underclassmen that actually settle down and be able to handle this moment that will prevail.
Take a look at the keys to the matchup. First, for the visitors who continue this road trip to start conference play.
Well, basically, the Bearcats have to win the battle of the boards because they lost it last game. And they have to handle the pressure of the Memphis youth and push the ball in transition.
So they try to bounce back against their loss against USF. How does Memphis bounce back from their loss in Houston?
Well, Coach was upset that they weren't very aggressive and they did not handle the defensive looks. And they're going to have different defensive looks tonight. And they also have to contain the dribble penetration.
You talk about all the youth, but we focus on one of the key returners for Michelle Clark-Hurd's Bearcats, Amari Thomas, leading the way once again.
Well, she's not only leading the way, she's leading the American in individual standings in many categories. Second best in scoring, second best in field goal percentage, and free throw percentage. She's fifth best.
Meanwhile, Memphis has 5 players averaging right around double-digit scoring per night, including the JUCO transfer and Dulcie Foncom-Mengiadu.
Well, she's been a great addition to Memphis. She shoots 50% from the field, and she gets a double-double. She's capable of a double-double every night, but she's in 5th in the American Conference in double-doubles this year.
A collection of some of the most exciting players in the American collide tonight in Memphis. Opening tip when you rejoin us here on the American Digital Network.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place, find this fix, and electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next loop's here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Moments away from opening tip as the Tigers welcome the Bearcats to town. This has been a great series over the past decade, although more recently it's been tilted for the Bearcats. They've won the last 5, make it last 6 now. Before that, Memphis had won 5 in a row. Well, we talked about Amari Thomas, but of course the great news for the Bearcats entering conference play is the return of Antoinette Miller, averaging almost 14 points per outing. Really has been a catalyst for this group since recovering from her knee injury down in Puerto Rico. And meanwhile, for Memphis, 3 players in the starting lineup averaging double digits, and you have 2 more players, including a tremendous three-point shooter in Madison Griggs, available off the bench as well for Melissa McFerrin. Lincoln Rose, Angela back with you, and we always boast great depth here on American Digital Network, as, of course, our first man off the bench always, Jeff Brightwell. Jeff?
Thanks a lot, guys. Interesting to watch the matchup today as you took a look at the starting lineups. Cincinnati, some familiar names, 3 seniors in that lineup. They were picked to finish 3rd this year. Memphis, although they do have some juniors and seniors, really a more inexperienced team, but they did have the number 32 recruiting class coming into the season. It'll be some inexperience versus the veterans here this evening.
Yeah, the top recruiting class that Coach McFerrin has brought in during her dozen years at Memphis. A lot of optimism, not just this year, but certainly moving forward as well. We talked about the balanced scoring. Even when Memphis has had some slow days performance-wise, the tally on the scoreboard always seems to be pretty impressive. This is a team that can put up points.
It's definitely one of Melissa's best offensive teams that she's put on the floor.
Let's take a look at where these two teams stand very early in the standings. Again, Cincinnati's picked to finish among the top 3 in the conference when it's all said and done, but they had a very difficult test in Tampa against USF. Meanwhile, of course, here we are in Memphis today. They also identical 9-5 coming into this one, looking for their first victory as a tough road trip to Houston. Bearcats will play 3 of their first 4 games to start conference play on the road. I know they are excited about getting back to Fifth Third Arena, where they had so much support last year in Michelle Clark-Hurd's first year in charge of this Cincinnati program. Bearcats, of course, in black. Tigers in the home white. As we welcome you inside Roan Fieldhouse. Tigers with a chance to strike early. Ariel Wilson, one of your talented freshmen and one of your Canadian residing in Memphis these days. This one, though, poked away. A steal from Jada Scott, a freshman in her own right. We're going to see a lot of names tonight that are going to be the future of this conference moving forward for the next 4 years. And the last second ball poked away by Jamira Schutz, who, of course, last year was all rookie team and a great freshman campaign of her own.
Both teams settling into a man-to-man defense.
Open look straight away, able to knock it down. Angel Riser, as much as we talk about the youth, don't overlook the senior.
Well, Angel Riser's really having a great year, and she's shooting the ball extremely well.
Michelle Clark-Hurd says Angel is just so much fun to coach. This her final year to have Angel to work with. In Cincinnati, coming off yet another WNIT performance. They've made it to the postseason each of the last 2 years. A long 2. The Bearcats unable to knock that one. That one from Jada Scott, one of your twins for Cincinnati. Both these rosters feature twins as they find success that time going inside to Kiki Hunter.
That's a big-time transition by Memphis. We haven't seen that in the past, and that's what everyone's concerned about.
Second chance point opportunity, as perhaps Riser was looking for contact. No such luck.
Well, like Herndon early on, she keeps her eyes open, looks for the open man.
Shoots, guarded by Antoinette Miller. Wilson looking for an opportunity. Great feed to Kiki, and it'll be free throws for Kiki Hunter coming up.
Well, excellent backdoor cut. Ariel Wilson just laid it right up there.
Michelle Clark-Hurd again comes over from a fantastic tenure at Western Kentucky, her alma mater, and now in her second year back on campus with the Bearcats now as your head coach. Previously was around as an assistant the last time they had 20 wins before last year when she took back over the program. For Coach Michelle Clark-Hurd, it's her 7th straight year to lead a team to at least 20 victories, and they are certainly looking to eclipse that number this year. Already 9 victories in their back pocket. Hunter able to knock it down.
When you have a work ethic like Coach Hurd, you win games. And that's all she does.
And led Western Kentucky to 4 NCAA tournaments in 6 years. Total of 6 Sun Belt titles combined between regular season and tournament as well. Hunter, a little far underneath the basket, able to adjust. Nice job by Kiki Hunter.
A couple JUCO transfers in there. Kiki Hunter has a nice look inside, and she finishes strong.
This is the 56th all-time meeting between these two programs. And a nice shot from downtown Memphis goes down for Sam Rogers.
She said, like, take that. She's shooting 28% from the year from three-point range.
She's one of the vocal leaders for this Bearcat squad. She's homegrown from Cincinnati. Another look as the first triple of the night goes down for Cincinnati.
Well, she's not only a leader, but Coach says a big-time leader. Vocal, and she gives great advice to her teammates.
Schutz will fire it in. Memphis with a 1-point edge here, just about 3 minutes in. And there's the active defense looking for a transition opportunity. Miller fires it up ahead. They can't convert it into the score as the layup off the mark from Adea Moore. Meanwhile, of course, for Memphis, the great consistency, 12 years now at the helm for Melissa McFerrin. Former point guard back in her day as a Missouri Tiger. And, of course, 16th year overall as a head coach. That great run with American University. Former Patriot League Coach of the Year. And, of course, the former general manager in the WNBA as well with the Mystics.
And a good college stand at Ohio State. She doesn't ever want you to forget that she was a player.
Again, active hands. And just would not go down that time for Miller.
One of the concerns on Cincinnati is the fact that they don't have many three-point attempts or makes.
Oh, great vision, but a tad too strong off the glass from Fancom Mengiadu.
Well, that's the third missed crib by Memphis. They need to slow down a little bit, take their time, and finish.
Thought they had a breakaway with the steal there from Madison Griggs, who's already come into the ball game. She'll be called for the foul.
Well, besides Herndon, this is a brand new lineup for Memphis, and I'm pretty impressed with the way they look here early.
It was a quick breather for Ariel Wilson, who comes back on in place of fellow starter Jasmine Herndon. So the Memphis native will take a seat. Been stuck on a 6-5 score here for a little stretch. Rogers already has knocked down one triple. Shot clock counting down. Timing it just right, calm and cool here on the road. And a couple more to the resume of Miller.
Yeah, she just got that on her own. Not a lot of offensive movement by the players in that series.
With that, Cincinnati with the lead, despite only shooting 30% here on the road right now. Fancom Mengiadu able to collect and score.
What's not to like about that? That size, the body, the length that she has, and that finish. Look at that arm span.
Last year as a sophomore, was a junior college All-American at Walters State. Former JUCO teammate of Jasmine Herndon at Walters State.
Well, she's 6'4". I'm saying those arms make her about 6'6".
Yeah, nice wingspan. Was the third-ranked player coming out of Cameroon, her home country. 3-on-1 break becomes a 1-on-none layup, and Kiki Hunter pours it in.
A nice touch pass by Sam Rogers there.
You see Hunter already a couple points shy of double-digit scoring. Open look, just off the front iron. Another offensive rebound, little power dribble, and going up strong. Adea Moore with 2 more points off the bench. Sat last year after transferring out of the Big Ten from Illinois.
Right there, good hesitation and go by Schutz.
And Jamira shoots out of Brownsville here in Tennessee. And all of a sudden, the pace has picked up here in Memphis. Back and forth. Back to Hunter. She's got 10 points inside the first 6 minutes here at home.
Wow, what a tempo here. It's draining both sides.
You see Memphis hasn't had to work too hard. All but 2 of their points have come from inside the paint. And Hunter goes up on the defensive end to grab one.
Yeah, she lacks a little size, but she has a lot of heart.
Shoots, confident, directs traffic. Wilson. Straight away with a hand in the face, off the mark from Griggs, who's already knocked down 43 triples this year. Both teams looking to make substitutions at the next stoppage in play. And I don't know if you could have executed that any better. Amari Thomas had no choice but to score.
Well, great back cut and great vision on that pass.
And both these teams have the talent to find themselves in the top half of the standings pretty quickly. And you talk about ball movement on the opposite end, well executed as well. Foncom Mengiadu.
Not a lot of help side defense early here. Basically, it was wide open on the weak side.
See the trend continuing for Memphis. From the elbow, just a little short. That time from Jaden Scott. Again, she and her twin sister Jada Scott out of Townsend, Georgia. 2:40 to go here in the opening quarter, and boy, the pace has picked up on a Wednesday night in Memphis.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place. Find this fix. And electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next loop's here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Things clicking for the Tigers here at home. Looking to bounce back from a loss on the road at Houston. This is their home opener in the American. Boy, Kiki Hunter playing in her first ever conference home contest. Already 10 points early on. In fact, Memphis, 16 points. All but 2 of them have come in the paint.
Well, all the point guards see the cutters coming down, and their transition early on is what Cincinnati was scared about. And I can see it because that's a touch pass there for Hunter. And then a backdoor cut for Mindu.
That's, again, Kiki Hunter's career high is 14 points. She's averaging a little over 7 points a ball game. Has already eclipsed the average, and, well, could very well before halftime have a new career high in scoring if Cincinnati can't put the scoring in the paint out of business.
Well, you and I have watched Memphis teams now for several years, and this is the best Memphis team I've seen in a long time. They look crisp, they're athletic, they shoot the ball well, and they have a great three-point shooter in Griggs. It makes them really scary. They've got the interior. I think they've got a lot of components that they need to be very successful.
And they have a freshman running the offense in Ariel Wilson. You talk about the Canadian out of Ontario who's already been a part of the Canadian national team system. Just great maturity.
Well, Wilson, Herndon, and Griggs, all three of them can handle the ball.
That time into the backcourt.
Did we mention Schutz? I mean, put Schutz in there, and that's why they run a 4-out, 1-in attack.
Last year, we would have spent a lot more talking about Jamira Schutz. Instead, such a balanced approach this year. As that one just off the mark from Kiki Hunter. That's her first missed shot, now 4 for 5. And a moment later, Jasmine Herndon trying to get in on the scoring in the paint.
I think they've missed like 5 or 6 cribs so far. They're just, once they get it, I wish they just slow it down a bit, but
it'll come with time, just realizing you have that extra split second.
A little maturity too. It's just, they're all excited and they're pumped up.
Time starting to melt down. Finally some breathing room. That's a long two-pointer if it goes off the mark.
That's the second time Miller had to kind of create in their quarter court. A little too much dribble and not enough action.
Boy, working so hard in the low post there to get free was Elena Davis, and finally some points.
I'm like, don't forget about Elena Davis. Last year she was the go-to down low, and now she's coming off the bench, so that gives them a lot of depth.
And Davis averaging 9.8 points a game. One of 2 players coming off the bench, averaging right around 10 points. Nice luxury from Melissa McFerrin this year.
Melissa going to a zone, which she doesn't like to do.
Dabbled in it some against Houston, and a walk is called. And that's only allowed here with some blue suede shoes.
I don't know where you come up with that stuff, but keep it up.
FM radio. And our officials tonight, Karen Priato, Brian Interline, and Bantu Stevens. And as Herndon unable to knock it down from the elbow, we've got a foul on the floor. That will keep it with the Tigers.
I like the Tigers' quarter court set. It's a lot of high-low, and they have the ability to go high-low right there to Davis, but they choose not to, but she gets good position, so it's difficult to guard that.
And that's got to be plan A on the inbounds. Bearcats unable to shut it down, and Kiki Hunter's now within 2 points of her career high.
Well, I'm pretty sure Coach Herndon is not going to be happy with that. That was just a straight line to the goal.
Trying to cure their ills by finding Amari Thomas. Bearcats have added some size with Nesma Khalifa now in the ball game. The rebound to Hunter. Not only is Hunter scoring, but that's her 5th rebound.
Memphis is forcing Cincinnati to take some tough shots. And conversely, they've taken a couple of tough ones over here too, but
Khalifa fortunate not to pick up a foul there. Simply ball out of bounds to Memphis. Tigers are on a 6-0 run over the past 3 minutes. 1.8 seconds before the end of this opening quarter. Again, their first option was open. Count the bucket, and what a finish to this opening quarter for Memphis. A 9-point lead over one of the favorite teams in the American this year.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team, launch this place, find this fix, and electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next loop's here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable.
And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Memphis finishes that opening quarter on an 8-0 run to grow their advantage to 9. Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck back with you. Before we get started the second quarter, let's check back in with Jeff Brightwell.
Kiki Hunter already, you mentioned it, Lincoln with 12 points, is 2 off her career high of 14. She scored that on November 24th up at Toledo in a Tiger win. Only double digits 4 times his career, but right now, Melissa McFerrin's got that transition defense equaling a lot of offense through 1 quarter.
Yeah, coming off a double-double against Houston and well on her way with 6 rebounds as well to perhaps another double-double tonight, as Melissa McFerrin really summed her up as grit, active on both ends, and that has certainly been the case just 1 quarter in.
Well, Cincinnati came in the game worried about the points in the paint for Memphis, and they should worry a little bit more because they already got 20 points in the paint. And then Cincy wants to shoot the 3 ball better, but they're 1 of 7 from 3, so I think they need to take their time and get it inside and get better opportunities on the quarter court because they're taking some bad shots here.
Memphis shot 56% on their home court. Bearcats just 32% despite a nice start early on here on the road. Bearcats 5 different scorers. We've seen 8 Bearcats on the floor so far, led by Amari Thomas's 4 points on 2 for 2 shooting. There you see the numbers for Kiki Hunter, and again, she has been a part of this dominance in the paint offensively.
Well, credit Herndon because she's been feeding her most of the time, and her passing's been superb.
You have 7 assists on 10 field goals for Memphis. Bearcats have had some nice ball movement as well, just shots have not gone down.
Well, half-court trap here. Melissa's pulling it out of her pocket. Mixing it up here in a 1-2-2 half-court.
Fires one into Thomas. This will stay with the Bearcats.
When you got youth like this and you got newcomers, it's nice to give them a thing to mix it up and keep their energy up.
And Michelle Clark-Hurd last year led the Bearcats 4 rounds deep into the WNIT. Finally fell in Fort Worth against TCU, but boy, that gave her returning players that much more time to continue to develop and mature and enjoy a very successful season. And hand in the face, shot off the mark there from, again, Fancom Mengiadu, matched up with Khalifa. Khalifa, one of your 2 Egyptians on the Cincinnati roster this year.
A lot of dribble there. A lot of dribble.
Behind the back, driving in the lane into triple coverage. As time expires, a foul called, and Cincinnati will be bailed out after Julianne McDonald a little too aggressive.
You've heard the old saying, dribble with a purpose. If you take 2 dribbles and you're not going anywhere, you need to make a pass. And I think they need to make a few more passes and break the defense down and then attack it. We haven't heard much from Reiser or Rogers yet in this game.
Rogers knocked down an early 3. Hits her first free throw here.
It's tough to get a win on the road, and I think you just have to settle in a little bit with the dynamics of what's going on.
Mentioned Sam is from Cincinnati. Off the mark on the back end. Tigers certainly with their fair share of Memphis natives. Some great talent in the region. Active hands stolen away. And looking to lead the transition, Antoinette Miller fires one up ahead, and a foul call will send Amari Thomas to the line.
That was some quick action in there, and Amari Thomas does a little spin dribble, meets the defender, and draws the foul. Comes in and spins.
As Dulce just a split second late contesting that shot. Now, Amari Thomas is certainly missing one of her fellow starters in Fofo Sifa. Fofo, in her second and final year with Cincinnati, is not with the team right now. Right around the holidays, she learned of the passing of her brother, had to return home back to Burundi. And paperwork has been a problem getting back into the States. Bright spot is classes have not yet resumed at Cincinnati, so no academic issues yet. Nice rotation, working it around, and again, your three-point assassin Griggs off the mark early on. But I know everybody in Cincinnati is hoping that Fofo can rejoin this group as soon as the visa will allow. Khalifa. And an over-the-back call, fighting for the rebound there, Adea Moore.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the shot they wanted with Khalifa from 18 feet, but they just need to settle down, get a little continuity in their quarter court, and things will be fine. Their defense is strong.
Hunter looking to share the wealth. Sets the screen for Herndon, and everybody thought Jasmine was going to pass.
Herndon's she's got high IQ. I mean, that kid keeps her head up. She keeps her tempo. Great finish there.
She spent a lot of time this year focusing on trying to get that ball into the post. That time, no defender wanted to pick her up the last second, waiting for her to pass. Figured, why not? Thomas.
Well, that's what Thomas has to do. Go do the little things that are going to make her team successful. Just go get a rebound and put back.
Yeah, 8 points for Thomas, but then again, another quick answer.
I mean, once again, I'm a big fan of Herndon. I mean, that was a major take.
And not on the same page there. Passed it where Rogers had been, as opposed to where she was going.
I think the mentality that Cincinnati has is a winning mentality, the culture that coach has brought to the team. And they're just fighting really hard, but maybe fighting a little bit too hard. They just need to settle down.
Jordan Tuff, a freshman out of North Carolina, will make her 10th appearance this year for the Bearcats. She comes on for Adea Moore, who heads back to the bench. Miller still guarding the perimeter, matched up with Herndon. Not off by much with the high-low opportunity there as they're trying to feed shoots.
Now, Fancom makes that pass. I'm like, okay, because that's a 6'4" girl making that pass from the top. She dropped it down nice and low, just needed a little bit more of a dribble.
Bearcats trailed by 9 coming into the quarter right now, trailed by 8. Briefly, the open look from the wing. And the shot's just not falling for Miller. Only hitting 22% of her threes this year.
Yeah, Miller's 1 for 8 right now, and Rogers is 1 for 4, and that's just causing him difficulty.
1 for 5 for Rogers.
They're hitting the rim, but it's just not going in.
Memphis moving with a lot of confidence here in the opening half. You see the discrepancy in success shooting from the floor. Well, it was a good feed, but it was like a quarterback who had 2 wide receivers running a similar route in the same area. Double dribble, no. And you're going to have either shot clock violation. Yeah, shot clock violation will give Cincinnati this ball.
Great defensive effort by Cincinnati. They're all over the pass and on the ground.
Again, Bearcats still have not had a home game in conference as of yet. Memphis, for the first time, playing at home here in the American this year. Mentioned Cincinnati has won the last 6 meetings. Before that, Memphis won 5 in a row. Memphis does lead the all-time series. And let's see if that will get the Bearcats back on track as Miller knocks it down for 3. All-time series 35-20 in favor of Memphis. They've only played Southern Miss more times in their history than these Bearcats. Southern Miss 57 times. This is the 56th meeting between these two runs.
Great little double up from behind by Miller to get the steal. Not only does she get the bucket on one end, she gets the defense on the other.
Bearcats within 2 scores. Nice kick out to Rogers. She draws the whistle and will head to the line.
That's a freshman. Wilson fouling the three-point shooter. Thing is, Cincinnati's very gritty. They're not going anywhere. They're going to stay in it, and they're going to be real tough.
3 free throws here for Sam Rogers when we return to Memphis. A chance to pull this within 1 score right now, trailing by 5.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place. Find this fix. And electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next loop's here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Well, the Tigers finally back in Memphis and far from singing the blues here with a great start here in the opening half. Right now up by 5. A reminder, 15 games on the American Digital Network here in 2020. This is our 2nd game of the slate. You see what is coming up just around the bend. Saturday in Philadelphia and then over at North Carolina on Sunday as well. A lot of games to look forward to. Your guess as good as ours how all of this sorts out with seeding heading into early March when we're back in Connecticut for the conference tournament.
Well, it's going to be an exciting time, and I'm impressed with the improvement of a lot of teams in this conference, from top to bottom. You look at Memphis, they finished in the tie for 9th last year, and I think they're going to be challenging. So she's redone her whole team. She's brought in, 7 new players and inserted 4 of them in the starting lineup. So that's how you change the complexion of your program.
You may have noticed we will see Memphis next on the 25th of this month, as they will be in Orlando for a Saturday tip. 3 free throws coming up to Sam Rogers.
I think just the fact that they haven't shot the ball well. I mean, this is a team that usually shoots the ball well from 2%, 2 points, but they should shoot 32%, 8 of 25 today. So they just need to hit the hole here.
Makes the first pair. Rogers looking for her 7th point. And the Bearcats now 6 of 7 from the line in this opening half. Rogers pulls them within 2. They've already cut 7 points off the deficit midway through the 2nd quarter.
Well, their defense has been jacked up a little higher.
Bearcats picking up the defense and forcing the turnover. Remember, Bearcats ended Memphis' season last year in the first round of the American tournament. Bearcats won all 3 meetings last year to help extend that winning stretch to 6 straight against the Tigers. And you see the 6-0 run here on the road right now for Cincinnati. Nice passing, creating an open look. Rebound down to Herndon. Rogers denies Herndon the easy layup. They'll kick out for the three and still have not been able to see Madison Griggs knock one down. 0 for her first three. On the opposite end, and Antoinette Miller has made it a brand new ball game.
Antoinette Miller, that's a great shot by her and good transition.
The Detroit, Michigan native. And an offensive foul on Dulcie. A moment ago, Antoinette Miller, the senior.
Right here with you. She just goes inside and does a left hand stab hook. And gets a nice little roll, finger roll in there.
Preseason second team all-conference coming into this year. And when they made that trek to Puerto Rico, banged up her knee, missed 4 games, but not a concern now in early January. 2-on-2, Herndon to Hunter. And 1 and done, Rogers with the rebound.
Well, we started out real hot, and right now we're getting a little cold here from the field. Both teams are missing the mark.
Bearcats are looking to take a lead, and nothing, not even that. No press here for Cincinnati as they get back.
I know Coach Hearn was frustrated that her team isn't shooting the ball as well as she thought they would at this point, but it's still early. Both teams are trying to get a feel for things. Second conference game.
Mind you, Memphis was picked to finish 8th in the conference this year. And free throws coming up. Headed to the line, Jamira shoots.
What I'm impressed with is their ability to get to the rack. Right there. I mean, hesitation, got physical with the body, and drew the foul.
When we chatted with Coach McFerrin earlier this week, again, she stated the obvious. They had to lean so hard on Jamira last year as a freshman offensively, and that's simply just not necessary this year.
It's not necessary, but she sure does like it when she scores.
Able to come through right there. Coach McFerrin with a great staff surrounding her. That's the case for both of these teams.
Mixing up in a 2-3 and a 1-2-2 zone, and it's effective because they're not shooting the ball well from outside.
And off Rogers, baseline is closed.
Better ball movement than I've seen so far.
Rogers looking to knock down another triple, no. Thomas offensive rebound, put back. Padding the box score in both the rebounds and the points.
Can't stop her. Not when she goes and gets those offensive boards like that against bigger players.
Thomas with 10 points, 6 boards in 16 minutes on the floor, and you count the bucket on the other end.
I mean, isolate that pass. That is on the money. That they've been throwing the bounce pass as good as I've seen any teams. Look at this bounce pass. Splits the defender, and the big girl handles it and puts it down.
Lynetta Williams has her first initial on the back of her uniform. I don't know what good that does because 53 has a twin, 52, who's Lanice Williams. But that one off the mark, and Hunter a little too far underneath the basket.
It's all right because they probably dressed them alike when they were younger.
On the opposite end, Rogers can't get it to go. That one falls to Lynetta Williams. Again, the twins, both freshmen this year, out of Arlington, Tennessee, nearby. Herndon drives, and despite falling backwards, Zendaya Moore with the block. But out of bounds, back over to Memphis here. I don't know if there was a possession change or not.
Once again, got to the body.
And Moore was standing on the baseline when she corralled that one. So shot clock down to 17.
Again.
Hunter will go to the line to tie her career high. But how many times has Memphis been able to inbound that ball right underneath the basket?
They're just figuring out who's a little bit loose on them, and they're just cutting straight to the bucket, not getting denied. There she goes. She fakes left, and they take the fake, and then take another fake.
Miller commits the foul. First point of the second quarter for Hunter after a dozen in the first.
Coach McPherson was upset with how physically they got outplayed against Houston. I think they're playing more physical right now. Cincinnati.
Rogers dribbled it off her foot. A nice bounce back here for Memphis as they return home. Shot clock inside of 10. Herndon with the rebound. Rogers whistled for another foul. It's the fifth foul on Cincinnati, first on Rogers. As you see, Melissa McPherson trying to make sure her team not only off to a great start in the first half, but is able to finish.
We thought Memphis might come out and drain some threes. They're 0 of 4 from three-point range. And we didn't think that that Cincinnati would take that many threes, and they're 2 of 13 right now. So that's kind of the tale of what's happening here.
Now, both coaches brought up the freshman Madison Griggs in our conversation. Cincinnati was very well aware that they were going to have to guard the three-point shooter, the top three-point expert in the league this year. And a little too hot to handle. Inside the final minute of the opening half, Bearcats execute in transition. They're back on top.
Well, Miller's found another gear in those last two series. She fed to Thomas down low, and she also got a shot.
It's a 10-point swing here in the second quarter for Cincinnati. They look to shoot just like they would a year ago. Shot clock is off. Bearcats can hold for the final look.
You can see Sam Rogers. She's in charge of this show, telling them where to go and how to do it.
Antoinette Miller in control. She'll drive right into the heart of the lane, and Memphis was going to give her the layup. Instead, transition the other way, and they call a walk. Wow.
I don't know. I might have to give it to her for effort. These officials, they're just not fair sometimes.
But Cincinnati went from a missed bunny, or as you would say, a crib, and on the other end almost gave up two. When it's all said and done, Cincinnati on the road, up by one. As in a moment, we'll have a chance to check in with Michelle Clark-Hurd in her second year with the Bearcats, get her thoughts. She is with Jeff Brightwell. Let's check in with those two.
Coach, talk about that second quarter. Memphis had a 9-point lead, but you completely swung it in the second quarter.
Well, it's just the veterans. We just started playing and kind of relaxed. We were rushing at first, and so, when you have a veteran group, you just try to get them calm down and let them keep going. So we just kept playing hard, kind of changing up defense.
Really set the defense in the second quarter as well, and Mari Thomas really got going.
Yes, and we need her to. We got to keep playing, getting up and down the floor. They was beating us in transition, so we got to adjust and make sure we're doing that.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you very much.
That's the story in Memphis. So right now, back to you.
Her Bearcats held the Tigers to just 9 points in the second quarter. More live coverage here on ADN from Memphis, Tennessee, when you rejoin us at the half.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place. Find this fix. And electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next lives here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
American. Be undeniable.
Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Hueso from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American. (32-31) Cincinnati leading Memphis at the half of the El Marone Fieldhouse in Memphis, Tennessee. We're joined by athletic director at the University of Memphis, Laird Beach. We won't call you the new athletic director anymore. You've been here for a few months, but what a whirlwind it's been since October.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It seems like a long 3 months, but a lot of fun too. We've had a lot to do, obviously with hiring coaches and some other challenges, but met a ton of people and really enjoying the process.
It's been fun so far. You came in, you had a football team that was nationally ranked. They win the conference. Go to the Cotton Bowl, a women's soccer team that wins the regular season. They're back in the NCAA. A men's basketball team that's ranked, and a much improved women's basketball program.
Yeah, no question. We've had a lot of fun and a lot of fronts. I keep telling my buddies this AD thing's real easy. You know, you just show up and everybody wins a lot of games. And you know, I'm sure it has a lot to do with me and my short time here. But yeah, we've been busy, and it's been a lot of fun. Not just you know, winning ball games, but seeing the fans and the overall community just really rallying behind every opportunity to support the Tigers. It's been fun.
Had to be very special to come in and be part of arguably the greatest season for Memphis football, to be nationally ranked, win a conference, and make it to that New Year's 6 Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you think back to the ESPN game day and that game against SMU, just, you know, packed house, national television, a lot of opportunities for us to really, you know, bring exposure for our university and the city to people across the country, and I think we've done it the right way.
Dynamic coach in Penny Hardaway for men's basketball was in the top 10. Took a dip in the ranking after the loss to Georgia, but they can get it right back with a tough road game against Wichita State tomorrow.
Absolutely. You know, that's the great thing about basketball, right? You don't have to wait too long between games. Just hop back on and you'll have another opportunity. You know, of course, this time of year, just across the board, we're dealing with a lot of sickness. You know, you got a lot of young people across the board at men's basketball, a lot of our sports. I know my family has gone through it, myself, others that you know, it's flu season, so you deal with all those challenges. But you know, that's part of what we have to do is overcome all those obstacles.
Of course, not just on the court or on the field. You want things going on around the athletic department. You're near completion of the indoor practice facility for football. We've seen the lights go up. You brought both men's and women's soccer back to campus this year. And I know here, it's been a venerable old building, the El Marone Fieldhouse. It's had some renovations to the parts the fans don't see, but you guys are getting ready for a massive renovation here.
Absolutely. You know, we've gone through a lot of planning here, just even in the last few months since I've been here. Certainly that started before my arrival, but those plans are coming together nicely. I think we'll have you know, more opportunity to really release those plans for what we're going to be taking on as soon as this season stops, and we have an opportunity to start doing some construction. But there will be a lot of work going on, and you know, it needs to. It's time we invested in this program, and you know, give some love to women's basketball in this field house. I think it has a lot of opportunity. It's got a really neat feel to it, and if we can take advantage of that kind of quaint atmosphere and really build on that, so it can be something we all be proud of. I think the fans will enjoy it as well.
A couple more quick things. Number one, with the success of football, you lost Mike Norvell, but in comes Ryan Silverfield, and it was very convenient for you. I know you did a national search, but the best fit for that job was on campus.
Yeah, you know, I've told a lot of people we were very, very fortunate. It's very rare that you have the opportunity to hire someone that's really ready right there in-house. And, you know, when you have a program that's doing as well as ours has, certainly that's optimal. You want to be able to maintain that culture and the momentum and all the things that are going with it. But typically, you just don't have that quite right fit, and you still got to hire the very best candidate, whoever that is. You know, Ryan just proved himself to be that right here in Memphis, which is pretty special, pretty nice for all of us.
It's hard to believe you're right around the corner. Softball, baseball, spring sports will be getting started here within the next month.
Absolutely. You know, that's another great thing about this is it never gets boring, right? We've got another thing around the corner to look forward to. I'm looking forward to some nice weather and you know, getting out to some other events. But it's been an exciting fall and winter, and looking forward to spring.
Mr. Beach, thanks a lot for taking some time out here this evening.
Absolutely. Happy to do it, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Memphis Director of Athletics, Laird Beach. Cincinnati leads at 32-31 at the half from the El Marone Fieldhouse.
undeniable.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place. Find this fix. And electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next loop's here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Well, just as the all-time series has been a tale of streaks between these two programs, this game's been a game of runs, including the Bearcats. The most recent beneficiaries outscoring Memphis by 10 in that second quarter, Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck. And early on, it was points in the paint, and it was Kiki Hunter with 12 points in the first quarter.
They were getting it in at will, obviously, in their transition game and in their quarter court game, and they're out of bounds. It was amazing how many times they get it in. But in the second quarter,
yeah, they would hold Hunter just 1 point in that second quarter, but still occasional success in the paint for Memphis. But in the end, it was the Bearcats who took over.
Miller and Thomas. It was a Miller-Thomas show right there. Boom. Offensive rebounds did him in.
So again, 19-9, the Bearcats would outscore Memphis in that second quarter. They would turn a 9-point deficit into a 1-point halftime lead here at the break. You look at the numbers, neither team shooting particularly well beyond the arc. What stands out to you?
Well, you know, rebounding-wise, it's pretty even, which you don't think, but it's the turnovers. 12 turnovers for, you know, one team and 5 for the other. So points in the paint, obviously, all game long has been a big one.
When we come back, a chance to check in with Melissa McFerrin, head coach of the Tigers. Her team down by 1 before we start the second half.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place. Find this fix. And electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next loop's here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
Well, in Memphis, breakfast is not always the most important meal of the day. If you're not serving barbecue for breakfast, always a good excuse to make your way out to this part of Tennessee. I think we might be taking on some extra calories at the end of this game. Right now, Cincinnati up by 1 at the break. We already heard from Cincinnati head coach Michelle Clark-Hurd. Now a chance to check in with Melissa McFerrin. She's with Jeff Brightwell.
Coach, first quarter, where you came out storming, they made an adjustment to kind of clamp down you a little bit defensively in the second quarter.
Absolutely. I thought we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with our turnovers and our lack of offensive execution. We got to get the ball inside to Dulcie. She's too effective down there for us not. But, again, turnovers kept us from getting shots.
Kiki was outstanding, just one off her career high. But as you mentioned, probably needing to get Jamira, Dulcie, Madison a little bit more involved.
No doubt about it. And they're a good defensive team, but I think we got a little carried away in transition and tried to force some things that weren't there. We need to run our offense.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks.
Head coach Melissa McFerrin, back to you.
Certainly appreciate the time of both head coaches here at halftime. We're getting closer to the start of the third. There you see Dulcie, and boy, has she become such a big part of this team, and just midway through her first season here with Memphis.
Well, she certainly is impressive. Just her stature. She has good hands for a girl her size and good mobility. Just, needs to take a little bit more time and square up to the basket. She's going to be something. But the good news is that Memphis is 7-2 when they shoot over 40%. They're shooting 45% right now, and they're 7-2 when they out-rebound the other team, and they're doing that. So there's a good chance that Memphis can come back here.
You and I were spoiled with a really good American Digital Network debut on Sunday. Ultimately, Tulane able to edge Wichita State up in Kansas. A nice one brewing here, just 1 point in favor of the visiting team from Cincinnati.
Well, nobody likes to play tough teams early, but it does tell you where you're at and where you're going. And Memphis has had Houston at Houston and then Cincy now, and then they got to go to Tulane next, so that's not going to be too much fun when Tulane got out of the gates like they did.
Everybody in conference just going to be beating up on one another for the next couple of months. Of course, we noted UConn, still ranked #1, will step outside of conference play tomorrow. They welcome Baylor, whom they lost to in Waco last year. And UConn also has announced they'll have a nationally televised game against Team USA. Some familiar faces, including some former Huskies, will be on the other side for Gino to coach against, as well as they test themselves moving forward. Lincoln Rose, Angela Beck, Jeff Brightwell with you with our ADN crew tonight. Right back inside, looking for Dulcie. And it'll stay here with the Tigers.
It's a good set coming out of the halftime to work the high-low and get the ball into Dulcie like your coach just spoke about.
Melissa McFerrin's really emphasized every day in practice and on game days to always treat this program like they're one of the top 3 in the league. They need to practice like it and execute like it on game days.
Well, she talked a little bit about her coaching staff doing such a great job for her, and I think that has a little bit to do with their inbounds plays, because I always left that up to my assistants.
Oh, Kiki Hunter is not going to be able to make her way down the floor. It's a 5-on-4 opportunity here for Cincinnati, and you'll see Hunter hobbling now into your shot just to help with numbers. Remember, she's sitting on 13 points, only 1 point in that second quarter.
Looks like she might have wrenched that knee a little bit, obviously. I might want to take her out.
Got a hand in the face. Shot is knocked down. Cincinnati grows its lead, and here's the stoppage in play for Hunter.
That was a great take by Miller. I'm impressed with her, too. I mean, she's got the grit, she's got the toughness, and she's got a good-looking shot. Great rotation, high arcer.
She joins Thomas in double-digit scoring already for Cincinnati. So Jasmine Herndon running the offense this time down. And count the bucket, and a free throw coming up for the pride of Cameroon.
Well, 6'4", putting the ball on the deck, straight to the goal, and finish it. Nice.
About a 55% free throw shooter. Chance to tie it here. It was just her 5th shot attempt of the ball game through about 16 minutes on the court today. And just throws a body at Miller. Did not want to commit the foul. And Antoinette stretches the lead back to 3.
Antoinette is their motor for their team. Neither team really focuses on their post, and I know Memphis is trying to right now, but I can't count the times that Thomas has gotten the ball in the post either. And I would give it to her. She's, what, 5 for 5 for the game?
Yeah, has not missed, including 7 rebounds in her 20 minutes on the floor.
She's in the high post a lot, but they need to find her down low.
It was a long 2 off the mark. And Miller breaks up the pass. It'll stay with the Tigers on this end.
That's one of the things that Coach talked about, was them forcing transition a little bit. There wasn't a passing lane that time, so they just need to take the opportunities when they get them. Here's the out-of-bounds play. We have to take a guess who's going to get it.
Aaliyah Nelson has joined the fold. She comes on for a day or more. Dulcie hands off to the Canadian. Thomas had her pinned along that baseline, forces the turnover. And here is your freshman, Aaliyah Nelson. And quickly makes an impact. She finds her classmate, Jada Scott.
That's when you're looking at the ball too much. You know, everyone was looking at the ball and not what was behind them.
A couple of freshmen executing for Cincinnati. Can they keep up on defense as well? Ariel Wilson trying to reward Mingiadu, and does.
Lots of strong putback. She can't be stopped down there when she gets it.
She's matched her 4 points from the first half, with 4 here in the third quarter. And Miller able to take advantage of Alana Davis being late to close.
Yeah, Miller 7 of 31 for the year from 3-point, but that looked pretty pure.
Trying to run a little 2-woman game, keeps it herself, calls her own number, shoots with the bucket and a free throw pending.
They do attack the basket very well. All of the guards are really attack prone, and if they weren't physical against Houston, I'm seeing a great improvement from that.
Points number 7 and 8 for Jamira. Not much for Thomas on that whistle. Offensive board, however, but Amari Thomas will not allow the 4-point play.
Good recovery.
Oh, just off the mark. The pass whipped over to Jaden Scott.
That's the 7th turnover of the game for Cincinnati. They've been pretty good the first half.
And Bearcats finally get a home game after this. Their first in conference play. Michelle Clark-Hurd could not have praised the community more than she did with our chat earlier this week, and all the support last year, including those first 3 games of the WNIT.
Yeah, her highlight was the fans that came out to support the team.
Memphis back within a score, looking for a stop.
Well, they took the halftime talk to heart and got the ball inside, and great things are happening.
And a beautiful stroke will keep the Bearcats on top a little longer. Antoinette Miller knocks down another. It's just the 4th triple to fall, though, for Cincinnati. You see the numbers for Antoinette. She was such a big part of that second quarter comeback. Now Jasmine Herndon.
Well, Herndon's got she's in great shape, first of all. And she took it hard to the rack.
Jasmine this year averaging 10 points, 4 rebounds per outing, putting in about 27 minutes a night.
I think with regards to Memphis, I think Cincinnati's always been in good shape, but I think this is the best shaped Memphis team I've seen. They seem like they are all in better condition and more physically strong than I've seen them.
Jasmine was 0 for 2 from the line before that one, now 0 for 3. Not clear if we had a lane violation. Either way, this ball goes to Cincinnati. And that full court press from Memphis. Rogers able to cross the timeline. It's a confident look from the freshman. Wouldn't go down. Herndon will wait for numbers. She's got a couple of big bodies to work with. And she chooses Elena Davis, the right choice that time.
Well, Davis just kept moving. Unfortunately, Herndon ate her dribble, which you don't want to do. And then Davis just went back door and she caught her.
Time for Amari Thomas to take a rest has quickly come to an end. She's back on the floor as they need more size out there to compete with Memphis. 3-point play from Elena Davis. Big time scorer off the bench. Again, almost averaging double digits this year. And we are even at 44. Davis now with the steal. Now Cincinnati gets numbers back and Herndon just gives it right back. And a silly foul a moment later from Julianne McDonald.
Yeah, the rule of thumb for the point guard is don't cross the free throw line extended, and she did.
It's a brand new ball game in Memphis, Tennessee.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place. Find this fix. And electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next loop's here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Bearcats led by one at the break. This one's still a nail-biter in Memphis, 44-44. One of the bright spots for Cincinnati has been, again, Antoinette Miller finding success inside and more recently outside. 9 of her 19 points from downtown. Sam Rogers connected early, then a drought, but Miller has poured them in as of late.
Well, Miller's a big-time player. She just takes it and strokes it. She came off USF. She had 19 points against USF in that loss. So she's coming to play, and she's going to keep shooting.
3 of 7 from downtown, 8 of 17 overall from the floor for her 19 points for Antoinette Miller. Again, for Memphis, we have not seen Kiki Hunter return. She's one of 2 players in double digits for Memphis tonight. Now, she's not one of their 5 players who average double figures, but see how some of the Bearcat players are even factoring into this conversation. Some vocal leaders there for Coach Clark Hurd.
Looks like Antoinette Miller gave a couple pieces of advice for Coach. I don't know if she took it, but yeah, she had a couple things to say in that huddle, which is good. Well, nice comeback from Memphis here to take the ball to even now. And, I think everybody's got little gears here, but we'll see what happens in the third quarter here.
Rogers and the Bearcats looking to reclaim the lead. Scott kicks out, back to Miller. Well off the mark that time, as may have been tipped by a Tiger. We had Julianne McDonald, one of the 2 Canadians from Memphis this year, come out to pick her up.
A little zone by Cincy, which we haven't seen yet this game, so kind of stopped a little bit of their rhythm for Memphis.
I think this highlights the parity here in the American. Again, Cincinnati picked to be among the top 3 to 4 teams in the league. And you can understand why, with players like Miller and Thomas leading the way, and then Memphis picked to finish 8th. So they could be certainly one of the surprise teams here in 2020.
Well, you think with three seniors for Cincinnati that it might be a little bit different here early, but there's a lot of spark in Memphis right now.
Olsey splits the free throws. It'll give Memphis a 1-point lead for now. And Scott will plow through now. The defender's inside the restricted arc. I thought our officials were going to come together. They're going to get her for a player control foul while dishing that basketball.
I think that might be replayable here. Yes. Yep, she's inside.
Yeah, by rule, they're going to overturn this.
Yep.
Nice job by our officials. And that means the foul then flips to the other side. It'll be on Ariel Wilson. They're going to go to the monitor. I believe this is just to confirm whom the foul will be on, but that would be Wilson. Yeah. They are not allowed to simply go to the monitor to replay it, but they can make sure they put the foul on the right individual. Wilson clearly had at least 1 foot inside that arc. And quick hands by Madison Griggs. And Griggs is still scoreless. She's only fired up 3 shots, all, of course, from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and they're trying to get her to improve her defense a little bit, and it looks like she has a little bit.
And simply a turnover there by Khalifa. McDonald drops one in, but too far underneath the basket that time for Elena Davis. Second chance opportunity for the Tigers. They're up by 3. And a double dribble on Miller.
That was a big offensive rebound by Dulce. She gets it, Davis gets it. Doesn't really have any space there, and Dulce just puts it back.
And that makes it an 8-0 run for Memphis. They're now 4 of their last 5 from the floor. You saw their lone miss in that stretch from Davis. And a foul after Miller got the steal. Well, on Madison Griggs.
And Miller's saying, welcome to the American. If you present the ball, I'll take it.
DeMeyer shoots, re-enters.
Excellent defense up top.
Mari Thomas among several Bearcats who have taken a very long 2 just inside the arc. And again, on the opposite end, Ariel Wilson unable to finish. Drop it down low, little patience, and a nice job there from Adea Moore.
That's a nice big jump stop. She held her jump stop. She waited till the defender got past it, and she finished. A few more people have to learn that, because that's how you gain 2 points.
Again, Moore just played 1 year at Illinois as a freshman, then had to sit all of last year, shaking off a little rust, presumably this season now. Her first to actually suit up for the Bearcats. Count the bucket. Free throw coming up.
Well, that's a big-time move for the JUCO. She gets it back to the basket. Little drop step, spin move, and 1. Big finish.
Elsie Foncom and Giadu. One of your 2 players in double digits right now, 15 points. Make that 16, your leading scorer for Memphis. Second leading scorer behind Miller in this game. And Elsie comes out for a break. So it's Davis matched up with Thomas. "16-footer, no. Rebound right to Wilson. McDonald.
Nice little touch shot by McDonald off the bench.
And did Cincinnati just turn it over on the inbounds play? Oh, another look at McDonald a moment ago. Memphis is about to get this ball right back.
It's a little step back move.
Chance to pile it on here. And a walk on Davis.
I do like whoever's putting their inbounds together on that staff. They've scored and they look good most of the time.
Double on Miller, frees up Thomas. Another offensive rebound, that one for Nelson. She has the open look. And, well, the good news for Memphis is Kiki Hunter's back in the ball game. The bad news is she's whistled for the foul there, matched up with Amari Thomas.
Yeah, that's a big body to try to keep off the boards.
Bearcats are on the wrong end of a 13-2 run over the past 4 minutes.
I think, yeah, Hunter's for the free throw.
And I was wrong. Either they overturned the call, but here is Hunter at the line. Still can't tie her career high just yet. Still stuck on 13 points, 12 of them in the first quarter. Again, she is not among the 5 Tigers who average 10 or more. But a pleasant surprise today there. That will match the career high of 14. And free throws coming up for Miller, who is simply forcing the issue.
Well, I can't blame her. Every time she's forced something, she's gotten something in return, and now she's shooting 2 at the line.
Bearcats are only 1 for 7 for the floor, so a chance here to simply shoot some free throws. So her first free throw on the day. If she can knock down this next one, it'll give her 20 points.
1:30 to go. You look for Cincinnati to put a little shift of gear here and get in 5th gear and make something happen.
0 for 2. Nice control by Jasmine Herndon up the floor. Inside to Davis. Thomas pokes it loose. Into Amari with the spin and the walk. Just trying to do a little too much.
Well, when you're Amari Thomas, you're going to get a lot of attention. And so she really can't do much. I mean, they're doubling her right when she catches, which is great defense.
She's had 7 games of 20 or more points, including those 23 points in the loss in Tampa this past weekend. Thomas with 12 points here tonight. She picks up shoots, now help from Rogers. Davis with the dribble. Offensive rebound for Kiki. That's a quick tie-up call. Well, for no other reason, for player safety. And possession arrow will send it the other way.
Well, nice job for Wilson to get on the ground and fight that out, because that's how she got the double up. And coaches like that when a freshman get on the ground and they sacrifice their body.
Jasmine Herndon with the one-man press, causing some problems. Final minute of the 3rd quarter. Cincinnati led by 1 entering this period. Thomas mid-range, good. 14 points to go with her 10 rebounds on a double-double night in Memphis for Amari Thomas.
She gets it any way she can, and that's the first open look she's had all game.
Lob to Herndon. It's not your typical high-low, but well done.
Yeah, just no help. Everyone's out hugging their man, and no one's seeing the weak side there. Not enough pressure.
Bearcats with the final look. Miller gets it to go. And we have a tight one entering the fourth quarter. Who would have expected anything less? Memphis in the driver's seat, though, up by 5 with at least 10 minutes still to go here on the American Digital Network.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place. Find this fix. And electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next lives here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable. And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
As if the folks in Memphis ever needed a reason to celebrate. Right now, their Memphis Tigers have a 5-point lead heading into the 4th. With apologies to the Rocky movies. Right now, Memphis up by 5.
Yeah, Memphis is shooting the ball extremely well in this game, 51% for the game. Coach said at halftime, let's get the ball into Mendu, and get what they do, 7 of 10, 16 points. That's the big change in how they got back in this game. I still think they need to get the ball down to Thomas a little bit more, a few more touches, a few more quality touches, but it's been Miller time for them. Miller has shown up. She's taken everything on her shoulder along with Thomas, and that's why we have a great game here.
Well, a reminder, we are 2 for 2 in some great matchups here on ADN. Still 13 more to come before we head up to Connecticut for the conference tournament in the American. Again, this weekend, don't make any plans. On Saturday, it is the Mustangs at the Owls. Tanya Cardozo welcoming Travis Mays and his bunch. Temple in Houston tonight. And Wichita State, Keith Adams' group will be well rested after a close loss at home against Tulane, as they head out east to take on the Pirates on Sunday. Underway in the 4th quarter, both teams with 2 players in double digits. Antoinette Miller's your leading scorer with 21 in this one. But it's 2 brand new Tigers this year leading the way, with Njiadu with 16 and 14 for Kiki Hunter. Bearcats offensive rebound. Rogers fires up the 3. Hit one early in this game, but she's now missed her last 6.
Good defensive recovery there.
Antoinette Miller slips, maintained her dribble. I don't know if that's how you draw it up, but determination pays off for Cincinnati. Aaliyah Nelson, the freshman.
I think they'll take it any way they can get it right now.
Nelson becomes the 7th Bearcat to score.
It's Miller causing that deflection out of bounds.
Bearcats can tie it up here.
Sometimes when you put a new team together, they turn it over just a little more than you want. That's 21 turnovers for Memphis so far. There they go, down to Thomas, just like I drew it up.
Amari Thomas, again, one of 2 Bearcats on the preseason all-conference squad for good reason.
That's the first high-low to Thomas all day.
She's got 16 points, 11 rebounds, with still 8 minutes to go in regulation. Herndon, she'll be fouled by Rogers. Jasmine Herndon, you talk about her game tonight, as busy as she has been in her 23 minutes, 8 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. You mentioned how good she has looked out there physically.
Well, as a senior, she's really developed. I mean, this is the best I've obviously seen her, but physically she's strong. I think her handles are great as a guard. She can, she can dribble left or right and pass left or right.
Pause in action here for the blood on the elbow of Thomas. She's not going to have to come out. Reminder, all you have to do to be a doctor is have some tape.
Correct.
Certainly appreciate the efforts and the preparedness of both team trainers. And you know as well as anybody as a coach how important that trainer is. And they can be tested by these athletes, constantly just trying to keep them healthy.
We really do need to mention them in our broadcast because trainers are very undervalued. They work as hard as anybody on the whole athletic staff, probably harder, from morning till night, and take care of everybody.
The moment you get one player healthy, it seems like another one is heading back to the training room, and it is nonstop.
Well, both teams have given outstanding effort in this contest so far. A good reflection of the kind of coaching that they're getting and the way that their chemistry is.
I'm not sure what the clarification was that was given to coach there, but it is Memphis basketball with 8 minutes to go. Stop and pop. And the Bearcats at least not allowing second chance points. And a free throw here, a foul here on Herndon. That's going to be her first.
That was a set play coming out of the timeout. And that makes them 0 for 5 for the game. From 3-point.
Well, no, 2 Bearcat starters have been pretty limited, as both Scott and Reiser have had 4 fouls already. They've combined to play only 16 minutes tonight. 4 points to show for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Reiser coming into this game, so I'm sure it's super disappointing seeing her on the bench.
Shot clock winding down, and a defensive stand from Memphis hanging on to a 1-point lead.
Good help defense by both Hunter and Mindy.
Good Herndon has in mind. Shot clock counting down with the home fans trying to help out the Tigers. A violation gives it back to the Bearcats. A turnover for Memphis.
Right now, all coaches want you to do is settle down your quarter court, get your ball to your scorers, which would be Thomas down low.
That was a rare three-pointer lobbed up by Memphis, obviously well off the mark. They're now officially 0 for 5 this game. Memphis has a couple players who can knock down the three, and to their credit, all the other athletes who three-point shooting is not part of their game, they do not force the issue. Well, nice transition the other way. Forgot to dribble, though. And Kiki Hunter still hobbling on that knee, but shuffled her feet while switching to the other side of the basket.
Well, she's pretty athletic, though. That's a good catch. She just needed to jump stop right there and just stay. But I think her knee kind of gave out a little bit.
If she can play in the NBA, they'll count that bucket for her.
Yeah, that would not be traveling. Correct.
Kiki has to come back out for the second time now. Foul on the Tigers, a little too aggressive.
Speaking of Reiser, she's back in the game. See what kind of lift that she can give her team.
She's playing on 4 fouls. Only played 7 minutes tonight. 1 for 3 from the floor, 4 rebounds. As McFerrin looks on. Her Tigers are hanging on to a narrow lead. And I don't know if Amari Thomas had gotten distracted there.
Well, that's poor execution right there. You just one pass and then you're trying to shove it in, and you need to get a little continuity going. I was gonna say Briggs is gonna hit one here. I know you don't believe me, but I could just feel it. That was a quick release on Briggs. I've been waiting to see that shot the whole game.
Is that all she needs to get started? It's just the first triple knocked down by the Tigers, who have not forced the issue. Thomas, 15-footer, pulls 2 of those points back. But we're talking about Madison Griggs, who can catch fire.
Well, she had a hand in her face, and that was just pure.
7 times this year, the freshman Griggs has hit 4 or more triples. That's her 44th already on the season.
And she tends to do it late in the game. So that'll be somebody I'd really cover up on now.
And they went to scout her at her high school, Houston High in Memphis. She had an individual workout. She knocked down like her first 20, would wind up hitting 48 of 53 three-pointers when Coach McFerrin and her staff went to go look at her.
That'd be a good reason to sign her.
It has Memphis up by 2. And a foul. Let's see if it's after the shot. 4:47 to go here in the 4th. As right now, Memphis up by 2. Free throws to come when you rejoin us here on the American Digital Network. But the three-point parade just be getting underway.
Lots of talk about innovation. We're over it. Time to do something. What's next? Let's build this team. Launch this place. Find this fix. And electrify this entire community. This is Cincinnati. And guess what?
Next lives here.
Take a look at the University of Memphis. You'll see a diverse and inclusive campus, a focus on innovation, a culture not just about education, but action. Then look closer. You'll see that the University of Memphis has one of the nation's top internship programs, where you get real-world experience with global companies and leading research hospitals. Because an internship should be the catalyst into a lifetime of career highlights. See yourself exploring, creating, doing at the University of Memphis.
Well, Memphis hanging on to a 2-point lead. Cincinnati, we mentioned, starts conference play with 3 of their first 4 games on the road. This is their 2nd straight away from Cincy. And it has been a test.
Well, Memphis has to just take care of the basketball. They have 10+ more turnovers here. Just settle down, take care of the ball down the stretch. And if you're Cincinnati, you just keep hitting that offensive glass. They've been hitting the offensive glass all game. They have 18 offensive rebounds, so I would get the ball into Thomas and Miller and keep hitting the glass.
Cincinnati's finally shooting 40% for the ball game. Memphis still right around 50%.
I mean, if you tell Memphis, hey, you're going to shoot 50% and you're going to be out rebounding Cincinnati, are you going to win? And they're going to say, yeah. So they just need to take care of the ball.
So again, there was a foul right before the break. It was the third personal on Rogers, who will stay in the ball game.
I would almost do like a hack-a-shack with Dulcie because she's not a great free throw shooter. So if she gets it, I would look to foul.
She's 2 for 5 now with 1 more to go. 16 points, 8 rebounds in her 26 minutes tonight. And Amari Thomas pads her double-double with her 12th rebound. That's how it's done.
Big mistake in defensive transition for Memphis. Missed 2 at the free throw line. Tie game.
23 points for Antoinette Miller. We're level at 58.
Now can they have the composure here? Get the ball inside to Dulcie.
Madison Griggs all alone for a moment there in the corner. Dulcie a little more comfortable from the free throw line when she can leave her feet.
Yeah, how do you draw that one up? But she had to take it, and she did. Not a lot of arch on that shot, but she got it down.
She's got 18. And it puts Memphis back up by a pair. Here's Reiser again playing with 4 fouls, limited tonight because of those fouls.
Well, a little 2-man game between Miller and Thomas. Thomas just puts her head down. Of course, she met up with Dulcie there. And that's a big giant to try to get the ball over, but she drew the contact.
See the numbers there for Antoinette.
Surprisingly, she's not as good of a free throw shooter as the rest of her team.
Now 1 for 3 tonight.
As good of a shooter as she is, it's surprising.
Makes a little under 2/3, but an offensive rebound for Angel Reiser. Nelson will reset things. Chance to take the lead. And this will stay with the Bearcats.
You're going to see a lot of sets out of Memphis, but that was really that was one of the sets.
Thomas straight to the rim. Free throws coming up. Dulcie will pick up her 4th personal.
That's a nice toss into Thomas, and she just splits the defender. Too bad she didn't make it.
Thomas, just about an 80% free throw shooter this year. Fired that one up. Another rebound for Giadu, who has 9 rebounds to go with her career high 18 points tonight. But will it be in a winning effort?
Going to get Griggs isolated. It's over. I mean, once they get it down to her, she's really strong. It's hard to get it away from her, and she just can put it back.
Old career high was 14. She's got 20 points tonight in her first home game in the American.
So far, their ability to get it into her is the difference maker.
Reiser straight to the rim.
There's Reiser. Hello.
Opposite end. Still looking for that elusive second 3-pointer to fall from Memphis today.
I think with the game on the line, I'm going to go down to Minji.
Griggs, your top 3-point shooter in the American so far, is just 1 for 6 tonight.
Live by the 3, die by the 3, they say.
Kiki Hunter the rebound. That gives her a double-double, 14 and 10.
I hear Melissa talking about getting the ball inside, so look at her, look at her. She's making sure something good happens here.
Looking for Dulcie. 22 points.
I mean, I think you had a 6-man on the sideline on that.
Had a pretty good coach scouting it all out. And we'll get a timeout. Another look. Dulcie Foncom Mingiadu, 22 points. Part of a double-double tonight.
I see when they say she's capable of getting a double-double every night. Yeah.
Well, she caught that ball, was so wide open, was almost too wide open, hesitated, then the defense came, and she still was able to go up for the score.
Yeah, it was a high-low isolation for her, but yeah, they had, you have to cover the corners. You got Griggs on the corner. So, you get a little drive here. And then she's playing on the top side, and all you got to do is throw it up there, and that's an excellent pass. So up and over the defense's Riser's hands. I mean, Riser's giving up a few feet there. She's 6 foot, and the other one's 6'4", so makes it tough.
I am premature on the double-double. That's 9 rebounds for Dulcie at the moment. Kiki Hunter does have the double at 14 and 10 already. Who knows how this one is going to play out over these final 102 seconds.
Let's talk about Thomas, though. Thomas has 19 points and 12 rebounds.
He's been busy. 36 minutes on the court tonight. Second leading scorer behind Antoinette Miller's 24.
And only one high-low that I can remember in this game. So she's got her points in a variety of ways, and a lot of it has been off the offensive glass.
So who will make the final push in a game of runs?
I think whoever stays to the game plan. If Memphis can stay to the plan of getting touches inside for Dulcie, then good things are going to happen. And on the other end, if they can give Thomas some touches and Antoinette Miller, those are the people you want to score down the stretch.
Both teams have had an 8-0 run in this game. Right now, Memphis, their largest lead has been 9. Cincinnati's largest lead at 6 back in the third quarter. A 2-point ball game right now.
Cincinnati has not been as successful as Memphis in their out-of-bounds plays, but maybe they've got something up their sleeve here.
Each team had to go on the road to open conference play. Tampa and Houston for some tough losses. We'll point out Memphis has 14 fouls this quarter. Bearcats only 2. See how that factors in the closing moments. Thomas and Miller both on the opposite side.
Call that a 2-man game. You clear everybody out, let those 2 guys go to work.
Antoinette Miller putting it all out there.
Well, if you're going to put your game on the line, you put the game on the line with these 2. She's going to make something happen.
We're going to have to get that chalk outline. He'll go to the free throw line. Antoinette is just 1 for 4 so far. Cincinnati as a team shooting 61% from the charity stripe. Tell you what, Memphis 9 of 20 from the free throw line could have potentially put this game away.
Yeah, it's surprising. 9 of 20, 45% from the free throw line, 64% for Cincinnati.
Instead, Miller could have tied it there. Memphis hangs on to a 1-point lead.
That wasn't even close. Ooh, that's a little trouble.
Shoots, guarded by Rogers, determined to get to the hole. Jamira shoots when it matters the most. Still a 1-score deficit for Cincinnati. Final minute of regulation. Miller drives on Herndon. She's going back to the free throw line.
I think you're happy with that, but you're a little bit scared about it because she hasn't been hitting her free throws that well. So she just needs to take her time and concentrate.
Now moment ago, we failed to inform you that Dulcie picked up her 5th personal foul. So her career high 22 will be where her game comes to an end tonight with 9 rebounds. Antoinette Miller, 26 points, looking to add 1 more to make this a 1-point ball game. Jamira Schutz has joined Hunter and Mengiadu in double digits for Memphis. There you see Dulcie. But she'll be a spectator the rest of the way.
Well, they've got Davis in there, and she can make it happen too.
Again, Davis sporting the number 40 now. I believe she got blood on her other jersey. Traditionally 33 for Memphis. And you're going to get the foul on Kiki Hunter. It's her first.
Kiki's an undersized rebounder. She's tenacious on the boards. 10 rebounds today, 14 points, but 10 rebounds.
And I mentioned realizing this might be a difference maker down the stretch. Again, free throws each time the Tigers commit a defensive foul or loose ball, but Bearcats have only been whistled twice. And though Reiser's been limited tonight, there's her 5th point. Knocks down her first free throw of the evening, playing with 4 fouls. Just 12 minutes this evening.
Well, Reiser's an 87% free throw shooter, so if you're going to get someone to drive down the stretch, I'd give it to her because she's money.
Bearcats have taken the lead at the charity stripe. Timeout, Memphis.
2 big buckets there by Reiser. I mean, you know, she hasn't had a good game, but she made it happen when it counted. But now's the time that with the big girl out, with Dulcie out, they have to look to different options and look for Herndon and Kiki Hunter to make it happen.
Certainly have options.
Well, Schutz was really good on the weak side, you know, 2 possessions before, and Schutz she's not afraid to take the game winner either. So I think one of those 3 players.
This 4th quarter has been a 17-11 advantage for Cincinnati to come back and take a 1-point lead.
Well, this is the depth that Memphis has always wanted to have, so we'll see what it does.
They've really just gone with an 8-player rotation. We saw Lynetta Williams, a 9th player, for 3 minutes tonight.
It's a 4-out, 1-in offense, looking to drive to the hole and create a foul.
Schutz determined, has to pick up her dribble.
Good closeout by Thomas.
And that 3rd foul, again, will not lead to free throws. But Memphis can hold for essentially the final quality look. I think they want to make sure they have time for an offensive rebound if needed. I don't think they're looking to simply melt down the entire clock here.
No, I think they're going to look to score. It's a team that hasn't been together that long, so they're going to look for their best opportunity. Shoot it before you turn it over.
Couple seconds separate the 2 clocks. Schutz couldn't find the angle. And the Bearcats will go back to the free throw line. Cincinnati can put it away at the charity stripe.
Well, it's your ability to execute down the stretch. One thing that Cincinnati has done a great job the last 2 possessions is holding their ground and not fouling. And that's caused these guys to maybe put it up a little bit out of control.
Bearcats' last 5 points have all come from the free throw line. Now you want to make this, but it'll still just be a 1-score lead. And Memphis happens to have someone who can erase a 3-point deficit. Freshman Aaliyah Nelson makes them both. Nice job by the newcomer. And Melissa McFerrin will use a timeout with 15 seconds to go.
I mean, I'm sure it's heartbreaking for Melissa because she's put her team in really good position this whole game. And now you're down 3, but you just have to keep coaching them and design something up to get a pick and roll for your shooter, or run a double screen for her, or some type of fade route.
See the difference in the two teams. Free throws when it matters the most going in for Cincinnati. Memphis unable to put it away at some points. A 6-0 run for the Bearcats, all at the free throw line over the past 40 seconds officially. But remember, Memphis had a 9-point lead after the first quarter. Cincinnati would take a lead, though, into halftime, holding Memphis with just 9 second quarter points. And then, of course, the Tigers erupted for 24 last quarter. Back and forth ball game, a lot of promise for each team. But again, when you have youth, consistency can be a struggle.
Yeah, I think Griggs and shoots right here. Look for these guys to take this last shot. They need a 3, so a 2 won't do unless they get to the hole really quickly and then foul quickly. I think I have a good feeling if Griggs takes it, she makes it. That's my call.
Uncharacteristic night for Griggs, the top 3-point shooter in the league, has only shot 6 shots tonight, all from beyond the arc. She's made just 1. Came here in the second half, and it's going to be a timeout now for Cincinnati after they see how Memphis lines up.
I'm going to credit, though, the defense on Griggs, because, you know, one of the things is you don't know how to move without the ball that well when you're a freshman, and you don't know how to come off screens as well and make reads as well. You know how to shoot the ball, but people aren't going to guard you differently at this level. So I think the defense on her, they've had really good defense on her, and her looks have not been that clean.
Two teams here early in the conference schedule looking for their first victory in the American. Can Memphis snap a 6-game losing skid to these Bearcats, including 3 meetings last year, including the game that ended their season in the conference tournament? Will Cincinnati be able to hang on here? Right now up on 3. Memphis basketball. Now your dangerous shooter Griggs is going to be the one inbounding this ball. Let's see if they get it back to her. .11 on the clock. It is shoots. Jamira can't knock it down for the tie. Thomas will go to the free throw line to put this one away potentially.
Well, it's definitely going to be a heartbreaker for Memphis. Game plan was great. They did a lot of wonderful things in this game, but, you know, Cincinnati just, they had the grit to make it happen. Both teams fought extremely hard, but you have to give it to Cincinnati for the defense that they've had in the closing minutes.
It's a 2-score lead now for Cincinnati. It's a 7-0 run, all of those points at the charity stripe.
Well, Lamb shot the free throws very well until the end, but they sure did a good job then.
And by making the second free throw and not outthinking things, you can set up your defense. You see the run for the Bearcats to potentially close this one out. They just need to avoid committing a silly foul here down the stretch. Although I say that, does Cincinnati go ahead commit a foul late in the clock? It would just be their 4th team foul.
Absolutely. You're going to commit a foul on the ground, need a few more seconds, make them take it back out of bounds. But I think for Memphis right now, just giving up the 18 offensive rebounds and turning the ball over as many times as they did, that they can clean those 2 things up. They're right there. Cincinnati, they struggled from the field most of the night, but they found a way to win.
Cincinnati has outscored Memphis 21-11 here in the 4th. And getting the job done late at the charity stripe. Meyer shoots, was given that opportunity to fire up the 3. Just could not get it to go down. And 1 for 7 tonight, Madison Griggs. And with a little over a second to go, Cincinnati should be improving to 10-5 on the year, 1-1 to start conference play. They'll finally head home to Cincinnati for their first conference game in front of the friendly crowd at Fifth Third Arena.
Well, this has to feel good to get this one under your belt if you're Cincinnati, because, you know, you're ranked, you're tied, you know, with UCF for 3rd preseason, and there's a lot of expectation on you, and you know, to get this on the road is a big one.
Yeah, the good news is the Bearcats finally go home. The bad news is it's against the other team that was picked 3rd in the league. They will welcome UCF to town. Bearcats with the comeback on the road tonight in Memphis. They have now won 7 straight in this rivalry with the Tigers. 73-66 the final. In just a moment, we'll We'll have a chance to check in with the victorious women from Cincinnati. Again, it was a group led by 27 points from Antoinette Miller and a double-double from Amari Thomas. These are not surprising stats. 23 and 14, the double-double from Thomas, as marquee players for the Bearcats come through.
Well, they just keep grinding. They have a very workmanlike mentality.
Antoinette Miller able to find our Jeff Brightwell. Let's check in with those two.
Antoinette, career high 27 points. Tell me a little bit about your game tonight.
You know, we knew it was going to be a battle, you know, coming into anybody's home court. So, I mean, they jumped up on us in the beginning. We have to claw back. So just keep fighting and, you know, just doing what we do. Stay in the game.
You guys defensively in the second and the fourth quarter were really outstanding, trying to nullify their guard play.
Yeah, we know we weren't hitting shots to begin with, so we just tried to use our defense to help fuel our offense. You know, we knew our shots would fall eventually, so we just have to stick with it.
Excited to get back home finally?
Yeah, we are playing at home, so we can't wait to get back to Fifth Third.
All right, thanks a lot, Antoinette. Coach, we talked about this game at the half. It was a difference in first quarters and second quarters. Here in the second half, third quarter and fourth quarter, I believe 21-11, you outscored them, went on that late run. Other than Kiki getting those early points, you were able to really play some very good perimeter defense.
Well, and I think that was the key for us. We switched up and went zone a couple possessions, really helped us. We just got a good group and keep fighting. I'm really proud of them, proud of Antoinette and Amari. Sam, we've just got some great stops. And when you come on the road, that's what you got to do. You got to keep battling, and credit to them. They played a great game, and we're just excited to be able to get back home.
Mentioning home, you go 1-1 on the road trip. You get 2 road games out of the way. Now you're going to have a very tough UCF home team back at home.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Like, you know, we just enjoy being able to compete, and we're just working every single day to grow and grow.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Big Cincinnati win on the road in Memphis. Back to you guys.
Antoinette Miller and Sam Rogers never came off the floor in this one. Miller, the career high 27 points, leads her Bearcats to their first win on the Young American campaign. For Angela Beck, Jeff Brightwell, and our entire ADN crew in Memphis, I'm Lincoln Rose. The Bearcats come back, finish on a 10-0 run to topple Memphis.